Hello, I am Kevin Thomas and welcome to the At Home Film Festival. This week we're going to take a look at fathers in honor of Father's Day. It's 1 week away. Did you get your father a present? Or your daddy? Or your pappy? Or me? Anyway, there are many movies I could have screened, but a lot of them are easy for you to find, like this great Steve Martin movie, Father of the Bride. And it's even easy to find the movie that Father of the Bride was a remake of, Father of the Bride, with Spencer Tracy from 1950 and a very young Elizabeth Taylor. But what 7 movies do I have in store for us? Why don't we take a moment and go see what they are now? I love the movie Chef with Jon Favreau, who also directed it and wrote it. You could find it on Stars, by the way. I usually feature this in a food-oriented show because whenever I watch this movie, I want to have a Cubano sandwich. He plays a famous chef that wins all these awards. The trouble is he never spends any time at home. His wife, Sofia Vergara, divorces him. So she's leaving you. You know there's something wrong. But then he needs to spend more time with his son. So this becomes a road picture where he takes his son. Oh, look, we even have Dustin Hoffman. Where he takes his son across the country. They have a food truck. It is so nice. And the young actor who plays his son, MJ Anthony, he is a great talent. I know he will grow up to win an Oscar one day because he's been in a lot of other movies as a child. He's got such potential. Everything about this movie will make you want to spend time with your dad and eat food, or if he's not around, you can just watch it anyway, just for the fun of it, like I do. There are so many old classics we could do, but I have chosen to do Life with Father, which you could find this month on TCM, and you could always find it on YouTube. This is William Powell in an Oscar-nominated performance where he's a very strict father, which we've seen in a lot of other old movies like the original Cheaper by the Dozen, which I love as well. But I just thought I'd rather do this film. It's another one. We have a young Elizabeth Taylor in it. But this movie just shows what fathers do to sacrifice, and it's not always appreciated by the family. But he's doing what's right for them, even though it is very militant in many ways. But still, I really enjoy this movie, and it's a Technicolor with early days of color, so that makes it even more special. Add Irene Dunn, who's always a delight. You have a fun time at the movies, I must say. And here's a movie that has no dad, but I'm doing it for Father's Day. Give or Take, which I saw at film festivals a couple years ago and have never forgotten it, is available on Here TV. So the father dies. We don't even see him die on camera. It's all off camera. But his son comes home to wrap up his house and his father's belongings. But there he finds his father's partner, lover, I don't think official spouse, because that leads to meeting lawyers where the son is having a fight with the husband, lover, whatever we're going to call him legally. The son just comes to town thinking, this is my dad, you're not related. That happens in so many movies and so much in real life. So, really good story. Norbert Leo Boots is in this, who's a Broadway actor, could really sing too. He's wonderful, but this also tells us and reminds us that if you're in a loving relationship and you want to care for those in your life financially, with your will, with your property, take care of it in writing first, because when you pass away, there's many people in your family that will probably come for your belongings and not care about what your wishes were. So give that a thought and watch this film. Not to start getting too dark, because it's supposed to be uplifting Father's Day films, but let's take a look at Stepfathers, right? And what about The Stepfather? It was remade and had a couple sequels, but the 1987 version is the one to watch, with Terry O'Quinn as a psychopath that seems to kill families and move on to the next. All they have to do is remain perfect, and he is okay with living with them. But a lot of people don't remain perfect, do they? Oh my gosh. Surprisingly, this small independent film got Terry a nomination at the National Society of Film Critics Awards, which is very prestigious. So wow, kudos to him and good for him. And watch it and bite your nails. And then watch something fun with Dad. Daddy Longlegs, which been made so many times since 1919, most popular with Fred Astaire and Leslie Caron. But I love the stage musical version, which you could find on Broadway HD. This is really pared down to just 2 actors. I saw this live on stage, and then I was excited when it went to off-Broadway. It's a little cringy in some ways, but it's really not. So it's about a young woman in school that has this suitor who wants to be your sponsor, so he pretends to be her daddy, not literally, but like supporting her financially, but she doesn't know who he is, even though he's this super hot guy. So that almost seems like a little cringy because he's supposed to be the dad and yet he's the love interest. And in this version, the actor and actress, the only people in the cast, were married in real life, so you could see their chemistry and their age is kind of close. But if the fact that he might seem like the father type and he's after this young woman, if you watch the Fred Astaire version, the age gap is much different and he does seem more, actually, that might even be more cringy. An old man after a young woman, giving her gifts and scholarships and money to live in exchange for what? Okay, I'm just morbid, but this is very pleasant, very fun, good songs, Broadway HD. Watch it there. I promise you it's not as cringy as I made it sound. Let's re-tickle our funny bone, okay? With Like Father on Netflix. This movie was quite a surprise to me, even though I probably felt I'd like it because I am a big fan of Kristen Bell. I always love her. And her father, who kind of neglected her whole life, does show up at her wedding. Kelsey Grammer, by the way, is the father. But she doesn't end up getting married. She ends up then having a big fight with her father over drinks, and somehow he ends up on her honeymoon on a cruise. So now they're kind of stuck to work things out because how far can you go on a boat, right? I love Kristen Bell. She always entertains me, and this is one of the many movies that proves why I'm her fan. Our last movie, I was leaning towards a raunchy comedy like Daddy's Home or About My Father, but I stumbled across this movie. I Love My Dad. It's on Hulu. Never heard of it. Actually, I haven't even seen it yet. So I'm kind of reviewing a movie I haven't seen, but it looks so good. So Patton Oswalt plays a father that's neglected his son. His son is now blocking him based upon a true story. So Patton creates a fake profile like a catfish just to be able to talk to his son. But of course he uses a pretty girl's picture so his son shows an interest in her, but it's really his dad. I think this is so creative of a premise that I can't wait to watch it. You watch it with me and tell me what you think. And the young star here also wrote and directed it, so I think it's based upon things that happen in his real life. Let's see if his career also takes off. His name is James Morosini. Remember that name. So if we like it, let's look for his other stuff. But comment and let me know what you thought of this movie, or actually any of the other movies on the list. I'm an open book. Open ears too. Well, that's our show of the week. I hope you share and come back next week and subscribe and tell friends to watch this and give me all the comments you want. We're leaving, God, Steve Martin's done so many great dad movies, Parenthood and this Cheaper by the Dozen. He's been in everything, hasn't he? Once again, it's a remake like his other movie, Father of the Bride, because there was an original Cheaper by the Dozen, which I love much more than the Steve Martin one, even though Steve's is pleasant. So while I watch these Cheaper by the Dozen movies, I am going to say goodbye and wish you a happy Father's Day. Or if you don't celebrate it, enjoy that Sunday, have a barbecue, invite me over. I like my hamburgers medium. Anyway, thanks again. Bye-bye. Oh, look at those kids.